I hate silence. I often run from it. I'll put music on, turn on Netflix, play video games, listen to podcasts. Anything to take away the eerie whisper of nothing. But over the course of the past 5 months, I haven't been able to run from silence much. In case you didn't know, 5 months ago, I took a new job. I moved away from my family and friends to a new city. I was very excited for this, and I declared this the Autumn of Ev. While it has been a needed change in my life, and positive, life decided to quickly kick me square in the yarbles about 2 months into my moving, and I got the most sick I have ever been with my Crohn's disease. It was definitely not the Autumn of Ev, and I ended up in the hospital for a week after having lost 30 pounds in a month. And before this, I really wasn't able to do much besides work and sleep. This means that for 2 months, instead of getting plugged into the community and meeting people, I was partying in my place, generally on the toilet or asleep. I party hard, I know. On the plus side, I am finally getting to a place of healing where I'm feeling energy again. I'm now more cautious and wiser, and I'm questioning that this is the winter of Ev? Notice the emphasis with a question mark. I really don't want to jinx it. I'm gaining weight back, and I've started working out again, because I realized that I was starting to get a little husky. Not super husky, just, hey bro, your chest used to be not so droopy, husky. Like a little husky pup. The reason is that gaining weight just kind of came in the form of eating whatever wouldn't make me sick. Whether that's meat, carbs, and believe it or not, ice cream. Praise that I am not lactose intolerant, which is rare with Crohn's, and watching copious amounts of television, so not the most healthy version, but Doc wanted me to get back to above a, quote, normal weight for someone your height, end quote. Which is really a nice way of saying, you look like a skeleton without a shirt and it's terrifying, but I digress. Although my health has taken a positive turn, what sucks is it generally takes about 3 to 4 months to meet people in a new city and find community. While I have been here, I haven't found the type of community that I'm seeking yet. This is so strange for me. I grew up being super tight with my brother, so I always had somebody to hang out with. In college, I lived in the dorms. In Peoria, I lived in a house with 4 dudes. We would eat breakfast together and talk about whatever. Now, I sit at my table, eating Avo toast alone, thinking about my day in silence. It's a weird feeling, and I'm still getting used to it. Now, I obviously have no roommates. I have no tight-knit friends. The rush to get home on weekends is non-existent, because my weekend plans are generally sitting around listening to Dashboard Confessional on my couch, sipping LaCroix, questioning my life choices of why I don't want to put real pants on, and try to get out of my place. It took me 30 minutes at the grocery store the other day to buy vitamins and a half gallon of milk because the cashier's computer kept crashing. I wasn't even upset. I was just happy to be out of my place for a bit, and the cashier was chatty. I don't say this to make anyone pity me or feel bad for me. I'm just acknowledging that meeting people is difficult, and I can sometimes compare blooming friendships with deep friendships I have back in the Peoria, Illinois area. I also have some friends where I'm at now, but I don't want to be a burden to people and be texting them all the time. It's a weird quandary that I face every single weekend. Luckily, I have been forcing myself to go to church. As a Christian, I think it's important to go to church so that you're kicking it with people who hold your values and will know people that will call you on your crap. To be totally honest, after finding out that every single small group meets while I'm working, yes really, I was super bummed. I wanted to stop going. I'd been going for over a month and still not connected with someone. I remember I was super frustrated, and I was sitting on my couch, probably listening to Dashboard Confessional again, not wanting to go to church at all. I had to be to church in 30 minutes if I wanted to make it, and it's a 15-minute drive. I prayed that there would be one person at church that I could connect with. One. Because I hate going to church and feeling alone. Church should be the last place that you feel alone. So, I begrudgingly and pissed offedly went to church after praying. Yes, I know that I am definitely a man who is continuously focused on the Lord. As I pissed off, went to church. Anyway, as I sat by myself again, I noticed someone from all the way across the sanctuary. I haven't gotten my eyes checked in 7 years. Don't worry, Mom, I actually have an eye appointment on the Friday after this video releases at 10 a.m. So I didn't think it was him. But I kept squinting, and I couldn't tell. Pretty soon, announcement time came, and he got on stage. It was my buddy Aaron. I beelined it for him after church. He's a youth pastor at the church I've been going to, and I didn't even know it. This leads me to tell y'all about the lessons that I've learned in loneliness. The first is that God is faithful. If you believe in God, this has been made abundantly clear time and time again during this weird season of loneliness for me. God literally answered my prayer of finding one person at church the same night I prayed it. I grabbed coffee with Aaron. It was so good to catch up. I also started helping with the youths. It's given me something to do on Sunday nights that will hopefully help some high schoolers in their faith. As an ex-youth pastor, youth ministry will absolutely always have a soft spot in my heart. Not only this, but I've seen God show up in things I pray for, because you know that your boy has been doing with his copious amounts of time, actually writing in his prayer journal. And wow, I'm a whiny little bitch sometimes. If I wouldn't get kind of embarrassed, I would read you some experts, but I am ashamed. But guess what? God still answers my prayers. Not always like I want him to, but he answers them. And that's pretty awesome. The second thing is that your surroundings dictate your feelings. As a teenager, I would generally live in squalor. Seriously. There was an entire month where I couldn't find one of my guitars because it was under a pile of dirty clothes. Yikes. I keep a pretty clean place if I do say so myself now, though. And I've realized that when I keep up with dishes, laundry, and cleaning up after myself, I feel better about living by myself, and when I'm forced to spend time alone. You'd be amazed at the amount of a mood booster that vacuuming might bring you. I've also learned that you have 24 hours and the importance of using them wisely. You live alone, and you don't have firm community. This can make it pretty easy to watch all of Breaking Bad and 7 seasons of The Simpsons within a month. Not that I did this or anything. Or you can start to be more disciplined with your time. Lately, I have tried to become more disciplined and use my time more wisely. I've been waking up early, which also means going to bed earlier, to either lift, run, do yoga, and read to start my days. On Friday, I did all 4 and felt like a rapstallion. I've also started using my time away from work to start learning editing techniques and Adobe Creative Cloud more, draw and or write more, and read books that I said I would read after I bought them anywhere between 2 to 4 years ago. Don't hear me wrong. It's okay to watch TV and play video games and relax sometimes. In fact, Uncharted on my PS4 seems to be calling my name after I finish all of this. But if that's all that you're doing with your spare time, try to figure out what you value and ask yourself, does how I use my time align with what my goals are? If not, recalibrate. Discipline takes discipline, and this really sucks sometimes. But it's so helpful, and you feel so much better if you keep after your goals. The next thing is that technology, it's your friend. Utilize it for good. Some nights, you'll start to strongly miss people, and that's okay. You have this crazy, amazing thing in your pocket called an iPhone. FaceTime exists. If your friend has an Android, do phone calls, Google Hangouts, and texts. It's definitely not the same as hanging out in person, but sometimes it's great to hear and see people that you love and miss. And hey, sometimes you gotta take yourself on dates. In case you weren't aware, I am single. Part of this is I'm incredibly picky. The other part of this is that I have a huge thing for emotionally unavailable women. This isn't a dig at any of them either. Truly, they're always real upfront and straightforward with me about it. Yet I normally try anyway, and then I'm sad about it for a while. Really healthy. Still trying to figure out why I'm like this. Hooray for acknowledging your flaws. I did make a video about why I refused to download dating apps in 2020. but I have found the joys of why it's important to treat yourself. Sometimes I like to put on an outfit that I think makes me look heckin' handsome and hit the town. A few weekends ago, I took myself out for coffee and a writing session, followed by pizza at Lou Malnati's, which is Chicago's best deep dish. Yes, I will fight you on this issue. Then saw Uncut Gems to see The Sandman in a serious role. It was an excellent evening. Not only this, but by going to the same coffee shop, I've been slowly introducing myself to the staff there and getting to know some peeps. Shout out to Sparrow Coffee. Y'all are my dudes. And something that's hard and true is that silence forces you to reconcile with things you may not like. The biggest thing that I've learned from living alone is the pervasiveness of silence. It doesn't matter the amount of music that I pump into my ears, the amount of TV I watch, or how disciplined I am and do the things that matter. Silence, it's inevitable. And a big part of why silence terrifies me is silence forces me to think. Silence can make me face my flaws. Silence can make me focus on my fears. Silence can make me realize that my dreams are bigger than I want them to be. Silence can make me realize that God might be calling me to do something I would rather not do. Silence can push me to places I would rather not go in my mind. However, the more I avoid those places, the more power those flaws and all the fear that clings to me continues to have. Silence, if I could let it, can cleanse me. Silence can help me better myself. Silence can help me punch fear in the face and tell it that it has no place here. Silence can help me come to terms with what God is calling me towards, especially if I don't want to do it. Feeling like frickin' Jonah out here sometimes. Silence helps me dream big and make plans of how to reach those dreams. Maybe if you're watching this, you've been feeling lonely lately too. And I want you to know that's okay. Own it. Acknowledge it. In a 2018 survey done by the Kaiser Family Foundation, they found that 22% of Americans say they constantly feel alone. So first off, you're not alone in feeling lonely. Start to tell people. Be open and honest about it. Hell, that's part of the reason I made this video. I want people to feel comfortable enough to be open about all this stuff. If 22% of people are feeling lonely, that doesn't mean you're a loser. It means you're a person who has valid emotions and feelings. If you are struggling with loneliness and you feel stuck in a cycle of depression and you can't possibly keep going, I am begging you to seek someone. We need you here, friend. If you need someone to talk to but feel ashamed to talk to a family member or friend, call 1-800-273-8255. They are always available to talk, and they can help you find the help that you need. Again, we need you here. You are loved. You have value, and the world is better with you in it. In the coming months, I know that community will come. I know that God is faithful. My surroundings can play a huge role in how I'm feeling. 24 hours require discipline. Technology can help connect me with my friends, and that taking myself on dates is important, and that silence isn't a bad thing. There are lessons in loneliness that have pushed me to become something greater, and for that, I am glad.